honestly, I'm really happy with the color. It works. Hi, and welcome back to my channel, the second episode of this dining room makeover. So in the previous episode I started by giving you a tour of the current dining room situation. I built a cabinet for our dining room buffet, plus we chose the color that will go on these walls. Now in today's episode we are going to tackle the coffee area, plus I think we may even start painting the walls. Now behind me you can see our current coffee machine setup. This exact cabinet has been our coffee and tea cabinet for the past 7 years, and it's not that practical, and I'm going to show you exactly why. To start off, the bottom shelf is really unpractical. You can barely see what's on there, and so most of the time it has been empty, or we fill it with stuff we don't really ever use. Really, it's wasted storage space. Now the next problem, actually, this leg is loose. I'm not going to show you now where the coffee machine sits on top. I think I'll put a clip here that I'm going to film later on where I'll show you. All the utensils that are regularly used currently sit on top of the cabinet next to the coffee machine, which looks quite cluttered, and I think it would be more practical to have a drawer here where all the utensils can be stored, and then you can simply use everything as you go. We want the cabinet to be a bit wider to use the space we have more effectively. As you can see, currently there's this gap here. We think it would be great to have this space as additional countertop space, plus this would at the same time give us additional storage space. So yeah, I guess that gives us a lot to do. Let's get to work. So, as you can see, I changed my mind. We have started painting. Now, the reason why I decided to start painting now is because I am not 100% sure yet what I want to do with the coffee cabinet. Like, I know exactly what I want, but after having built the buffet and it's taking so much time, if I'm honest, I would prefer to find a cabinet secondhand that is somewhat already what I want and then remake that one rather than building something new from scratch. However, finding that exact cabinet has proven to be not so easy. We have very specific measures for the place where the coffee cabinet currently is. The cabinets that I found were either too wide, not high enough, or just straight up not what I wanted. I'm actually heading out right now to another second-hand shop. Fingers crossed that I'm going to find the right cabinet today. Now, as you can see, we finished painting, and honestly, I'm really happy with the color and how everything turned out. Now we had to do 2 coats on the walls and also on the trim. I don't know if you can see from there, but we decided to not paint the window. The thing is, we did debate for quite a while whether we wanted to or not, and so we thought it might be best to just leave it for now, and then we can always go back and paint the window if we decide otherwise. But I guess for now it's going to stay like that. So after we finished painting, we already started to remove the masking tape, and unfortunately I did realize quickly that we had quite some touching up to do. There were quite a few spots where either the paint got under the tape or where we didn't put tape on quite as well as we thought we did, and so we ended up with quite a few crooked lines. I did already fix that, or most of it, as well as I could, and now we are ready to finally move the furniture back, which I'm really excited about. Speaking of furniture, I actually did end up finding a piece of furniture for the coffee cabinet. I found it on Facebook Marketplace and we already went to pick it up yesterday. Currently it's downstairs in the garage. The piece of furniture is definitely not what you would expect me to get at first glance. I'm pretty sure of that. I have checked all the boxes, and now before I talk too much, I think we'll just go downstairs and I'll show you. And here it is. Not what you expected, right? The thing is, when I was looking for a piece of furniture to become our coffee cabinet, one of my top priorities was to find a piece of furniture that already had the top drawers I was looking for. Because honestly, I kind of dread building drawers myself. These ones are exactly what I wanted, so I can simply paint them and use them as is, which is great. Then second of all, the dimensions. I know the cabinet looks really big, and it is, but the depth and the length are exactly what I need. The only thing that's quite obviously off is the height. However, I think that's going to be quite an easy fix. In order to do that, I'm going to try to deconstruct the cabinet as well as possible. I think it won't be a problem to take off the top, but I have to see how much of the side and the front I can deconstruct. Let's get to work and find out. Now that I'm on it, I think I can actually deconstruct like the whole thing, and I might just do that, cut the individual pieces to size and then reconstruct everything again in the size that I like. So now, as you can see behind me, I finished disassembling the whole cabinet, and the side pieces are actually already cut to size as well. It ended up being quite a bit harder to disassemble the side pieces, because while disassembling I actually realized that the side panels were glued into the side frame. So I had to do some research, and I found out that depending on what glue was used, you can get it to become liquid or gooey again with heat. And so we tried to do just that by using our hairdryer. However, that ended up not working, which left me with 2 options. One of them was to completely rebuild the side of the cabinet, but I decided to first go with the second option, and that was to just simply cut the side of the cabinet to size, completely disregarding what that would do to the panel. I actually thought they would be destroyed in the process. However, we were lucky. While cutting the side frame to size, the side panels actually started to come loose, and so eventually we were able to separate the panels from the frame and cut everything to size. And now I have all the individual pieces behind me. The next step is to assemble everything again, so I guess we're just getting started with that. day. Yesterday I did realize that there were a few things missing, and so I made a list and I went to the hardware store to pick up the pieces of wood and panels that I was missing. In the next step I'm now going to measure and cut the pieces to size so I can finish the outside of the cabinet, and then afterwards we're going to tackle the inside. Now, as you can see, I finished installing the floor and the back of the cabinet. Initially this cabinet did not have a floor, however I decided that I wanted to install one nonetheless in order to reduce the amount of dust that can come in. For the back I decided to put a peel and stick foil on. I tried to match the color to the interior walls of the cabinet because I didn't think I want to paint them. The color looks similar. I would have preferred for it to be closer still. Once the drawers and everything is installed, I don't think you're going to see the back of the cabinet very much anyway, so it's probably fine. Now that most of the outside structure is done, apart from the cabinet top, which I think is going to be the very last thing I'm going to install, I will now tackle the inside of the cabinet. Let's go!
Okay, so I think I need to explain a few things here. Do you remember me complaining about not being able to see what's on the lower shelf of our current coffee cabinet at the beginning of this video? Well, as a way of solving that problem, I decided that I want to install an interior drawer on the lower shelf of the new coffee cabinet. I used one of the existing drawers as a base, however it needed to undergo a few modifications to become what I need it to be. First, I noticed that the existing drawer bottom was bent quite noticeably from previous use, and so I decided to replace it. Next up, the drawer frame. For the drawer to become an interior drawer, it needed to lose a few centimeters of its depth. And finally, the drawer front. Then it was time to reassemble. To somewhat mitigate bending in the future, I reinforced the bottom of the drawer. Last but not least, it was finally time to install the drawer.
In the spirit of reusing as much of the previous cabinet as possible, I'm going to use parts of the face frame and reuse them as brackets for my shelving. The great part is the color matches the inside of the cabinet, so they are going to blend in really well. So most of the interior is finished. As you can see, I actually used the same type of wood. Both are oak. After installing them, I realized that on the left and the right side of the shelving there was a gap, which I did not really like, and so I got some trim and I cut that one to size and I glued it to kind of fill the gaps, because I want to avoid these spaces to become dust collectors. And also I think it looks better with the trim on than without. It looks a bit more finished, let's say. So now, so I guess take two. While filming the previous clip, I kind of realized that with the drawer, the way it was, we would not have been able to install doors. Let's say we would have been able to install them, but not properly open the drawer with the doors. So I kind of had to shorten the drawer a bit, and that of course entailed taking the whole drawer apart, cutting everything back to the new length and then reassembling everything again. Now, as you can see, to make this work I had to install 2 additional pieces of wood, so I could install the drawer slides in a way where they would accommodate the narrower drawer. While the drawer was disassembled anyway, I went ahead and installed a peel and stick foil on the drawer bottom. This is going to be way easier to clean than simply having the raw MDF sheet. So yeah, now where were we? We have the bottom drawer installed, now in the correct size. We have the shelving, which I already went over last time. And now next up are the top drawers. I'm not really going to change anything about them. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install the same peel and stick foil I used on this drawer, and then I think it's already onto the drawers. While I'm at it, I think I'm also going to remove the knobs. I want to exchange them anyway, so I think I might as well just remove them now. And with that, the interior is now officially done. Next, I'm going to move on to the doors. I chose to use MDF sheets for these doors, and also I already got them pre-cut at a hardware store. Something like this. Now, usually I don't like doors that are plain, and so I did decide to use trim to do a bit of detailing on the door fronts. That's what we're going to do next. I'm going to go get my trim, cut it to size, glue it on, and I think then I'm going to see you back here. As promised, I'm back and the doors are finished. While the glue was drying, I already took that time to start fill some of the holes that are still on my cabinet front. The thing is, those holes were pre-drilled from how the cabinet was previously assembled. However, I ended up not having any use for them, and once I paint over them, you hopefully won't see that they were ever there. Now, I think I'm not going to install the doors just yet. I think I'm going to wait until after I finished painting them. I think that's going to be easier. Anyway, I'm now going to finish the prep work for painting and then I can just start and paint. I should probably mention that this color has also a primer in it, so it's like a 2-in-1 primer plus color. That's the reason why you don't see me prime the cabinet. As you can see behind me, painting is finished. So the next step is going to be to assemble the cabinet. However, I am going to do that in the dining room. So I guess I'll see you upstairs.
So at this point I was very much ready to just put everything back into the new coffee cabinet. However, before we can do that, there are still a few more things that need to be done. First things first, I reattached the cabinet top. Next up were the door handles. Then came the doors. After installing the door hinges, I mounted the doors to the coffee cabinet, followed by the matching door handles. Finally, it was time to put the drawer back into place and start organizing everything into their new home.
like that, we arrived at the end of this video. All in all, I'm quite happy with how the cabinet turned out. I mean, in terms of functionality, it definitely checks all the boxes, and all the problems that I mentioned in the beginning that our previous cabinet had are definitely solved. In terms of aesthetics, I think I might still do a few tweaks. I'm not completely sold yet on the countertop. I simply used the one that the cabinet came with. However, I'm not sure if I like the color. Now, I think I'm going to leave it like this for now, and I'm going to stare at it for a few days, maybe a few weeks, and then decide whether I want to exchange it, maybe paint it. I'm not sure yet. We'll see, I guess. Nothing is decorated yet, and I think once that's done, it's going to look quite a lot better already. However, for this video, that's all I'm going to do. Now, like always, the only thing left to do is to wish you a very lovely rest of your day, and I hope to see you on my next video. Bye!